Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you for another review. This is going to be for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 5, that I got a chance to watch for myself to see what I was going to think of this newest episode. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this hour and 13-minute episode or so. It was somewhere around a lengthy time, I'll tell you that. I think it was like an hour, 20 minutes or so, but I'll let you know what I thought of this lengthy episode of what I watched for episode 5 for season 2. So let's dive into this episode review. Now, basically, the whole story, this was after Rhaenys got killed off by Aemon's dragon Vhagar. And pretty much, they're kind of plotting diplomatically on how to figure out how to take down the Hightowers and take back King's Landing in name of Rhaenyra to be queen. So, pretty much, the Hightowers are proving that their reign is not going very well. I'll tell you that much. Aegon got burned up. Aegon was burned up, King Aegon, and he pretty much is in bedridden because he's got a lot of burns and marks on him. So he's pretty fucked up, I'll tell you that much, because Aemond kind of told his dragon Dracarys when he was about ready to kill Aegon, honestly. So yeah, Aemond is a pretty slick bastard in this show, but his performance in this episode was pretty good. But the problem was the execution with this episode. It wasn't terrible in any way. I'm sorry about the background noise. It wasn't that it was terrible. It just was average, this episode. The dialogue was interesting for this episode on going into what's going to happen, and I'm so sorry about the background noise. That's my eBay going off. And another email, basically. So, with what I watched with this episode, I was very entertained, to an extent, with some points in the episode. Would I say this is my favorite episode? Not so much. It's average, but it could have been a little better. I mean, the first episode was the most weakest episode, and the second episode wasn't bad. It was a little better. The third episode was good. The fourth episode was interesting. This one was kind of in between decent and average. So, I think what Aemond wanted to do was become the next succession in line to be king of King's Landing and all that, so king of the region. And so a lot of stuff happened in this episode. Daemon's trying to be his own king and all that, trying to say bend the knee to me and all that. So he's kind of losing his crap. And that mistress or whatever her name is, I'm so sorry about the background noise. It's going to do it again in a second. So pretty much Daemon is kind of tripping balls in some areas in the episode. Like, he's hearing things, kind of seeing things. So the mistress is kind of poisoning him or something, putting something in the tea or drink or whatever to make him trip balls. So I was interested in this episode, and the ending was interesting, but most of the episode felt like a dud a bit. A slow dud. It wasn't that it was terrible, it just was decent, at least. So, and the dialogue was interesting, but it is another iffy episode that I don't know if I like or not. I have mixed opinions about this episode, but I don't hate it. I just think its execution could have been a little better. But hey, you're going to have your hit or miss episodes with certain shows and episodes. Just depends on how the execution turns out. And for this, it wasn't bad, but even the people of King's Landing are fearing the high towers and feeling like they're not giving to the people and helping their causes out. They're only helping themselves out by trying to win a war in the name of their king Aegon, or Aemond now. As of now, it's Aemond, King Aemond. And pretty much, this episode was kind of decent. So, if I were to give it a score, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for this episode. I think it's decent. It's not one of the best episodes I've seen, but it had some average points, but it also had some very weak, slow points in this episode that could have been utilized a lot better, with better, interesting action scenes and better, well, it did explain some things, but it just felt like a slow drag in some areas. But that's the whole thing. It was trying to explain more dialogue about the episode, and that's what I appreciated about the episode. But the execution was the main thing. Like, did it work or did it not work in some areas? So, of this episode. So, 7 out of 10 for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 5. I didn't hate this episode. I'm a little mixed on this one. I don't necessarily hate it. I just think it's decent for what it is. So, with that being said, 7 out of 10 for this episode. Thanks for watching this episode review this afternoon.